Hey, how's it going? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Gabby, and today I'm going to be starting on a reading vlog where I'm going to be reading a few of my highly anticipated book releases. So in this video, I'm going to be reading 3 different books. I'm going to be reading Best Men, which is a new gay romantic comedy that just came out recently, and it sounds so freaking cute. I'm also finally going to be jumping into Yours Truly by Abby Jimenez, which is one of my most anticipated romances of the year after how much I absolutely loved Part of Your World last year. And then I'm also going to be reading The Whispers by Ashley Audrain, which this is one that I am so excited about because this is the same author as The Push, and this is her second novel. It's kind of like mystery, thriller, contemporary kind of vibes. I am so excited to read this one. I'm also going to be doing an extended Patreon part of this reading vlog where I'm going to be reading Everyone in My Family Has Killed Someone. You know, it's kind of like a thriller mystery, a little bit maybe cozy mystery. I don't know exactly what the vibe is for that one yet, but me reading that book is going to be part of the Patreon extended version of this vlog. So if you're watching this on YouTube and you would like to see the extended version of this vlog, I'll have the link for my Patreon down below so you can check it out. It has been such an exciting time of new releases lately. Like, I feel like there's always new books coming out that just sound absolutely incredible, so I'm excited to get to a couple of them during this video. So let me send you back about a week. What's going on? I am out in the world today. I have started reading Best Men, which is the romance book that I wanted to kick off this video with because I am just so excited for Best Men. This cover is absolutely stunning, by the way, but I did want to update you because I'm about 10 chapters into the book, which puts me at about, I don't know, somewhere around like 90 pages in, and so far this is cute. And in this story, we're following this guy who lives in New York, and that's one of the biggest things that I'm loving about it so far is like the New York atmosphere and the talk about like living in Manhattan and then going down to Brooklyn, and it's just like, it's a whole vibe, you know? But what's funny in this book is that his best friend, this girl named Paige, she's going to be getting married, and it's kind of like surprising to him because he never thought that his best friend was going to be like the type to even want to get married. And so this story, you know, it also has some of the fun kind of like wedding vibes that I also really tend to love in romance books. Like, come on, New York City vibes and wedding vibes. Like, I have so much fun reading about weddings and romance books. I don't know why, because I'm not even that big of a fan of like weddings in real life, but there's something about reading about weddings, I just find it so entertaining. Thing is that this guy, our main protagonist Max, he starts to like catch feelings for the groom's younger brother, but it's funny because they had actually had this kind of like awkward one night stand kind of situation happen like right before the wedding, and he didn't know who he was, obviously, so now there's this kind of like awkward like tension between them already. Sorry if I'm like looking behind the camera. There are like so many people walking around in the park that's like right on the other side of my car, and they keep staring at me. But yeah, so far it's cute. I don't know, I'm not obsessed with like either of the characters so far. If anything, I actually really like Max's relationship with Paige, with like his best girlfriend. I think they're really adorable, and I'm loving their chemistry, but I feel like so far I know close to nothing about the love interest. Like, he's barely, I feel like, even been introduced so far, so he's kind of still a mystery to me, but I'm still figuring it out. But anyways, as you might have heard, I talked about recently how my favorite acai bowl place just closed. Like, it's permanently closed. I actually like went and looked in there the other day, and like it's completely, like, all the tables are gone, everything's taken down, like it's gone, it's over. And so I've been like really sad about it, you know, because like that acai bowl place, I've been going there for the last like 5 years, and it has really just like improved my life so much. So I'm really depressed that my acai bowl place closed, so I've been like on the hunt to try and find another acai bowl spot that I like. And there's a place called Robex that's actually not too far from here. It's like just around the corner over here, and I have tried their acai bowls in the past. Like, I think I tried their acai bowls like 5 fucking years ago. It was before I used to go to Vitality. I remember in the past I didn't really like their acai bowls, and so that's why I never went back. But it's been like 5 years, and like my taste buds have changed a lot, I think, over the last 5 years, and I'm sure maybe their bowls have also changed in the last 5 years. I don't know. I thought maybe it's time to try it again and see if it might be something I can enjoy. I mean, this bowl looks absolutely stunning, does it not? Like, look at that. Wow. Okay, let's see how it compares. Okay, I'm not mad about this. Okay, this is actually pretty fire. Like, I can live with this. You know, I don't think the flavor of the acai is as good as the one that I used to get at Vitality, but this will suffice. Like I can live with this, you know, like this is still pretty good. I also do like too, I mean, these bowls are like, they seem like a little bit smaller than the ones that I would get at Vitality, but they're also like a lot cheaper at the same time. So like maybe this is a good thing for my wallet. I don't know. But anyways, it's kind of hot today. Today's supposed to be like 85 degrees. It's definitely one of the warmest summer days that we've had so far for June. So I'm just gonna plan to eat this in the car right now, listen to more of this audiobook, and then I also have plans. I need to go to Target after this. I also might go to Costco. I will update you with thoughts when I have them.
Another night, I fall in your sight. Your new eyes cut sharp like a knife. Take a moment and look all around you. I don't want you caught off guard or alarmed with.
Okay, hello, I am back home from being out today. I ended up going to Target and Costco, and while I've been out today, I've just been listening to this audiobook literally all day. I'm already on page 240. This book, I've had such mixed feelings about this the whole time because I genuinely feel like in the first, I don't know, like in the first 50% of this book, I was like not enjoying it too much. Like I just kind of felt like the characters were kind of annoying. I didn't really feel the chemistry between these two guys, at least in the beginning. Like, I don't know, I feel like it took a long time before things really started to get interesting. I've seen some people describe this book as like the gay version of Bridesmaids, which I would absolutely agree, but I don't think it's nearly as funny as Bridesmaids, you know? I feel like it's kind of annoying because it's these two gay men who are trying to like compete for the bride's attention and trying to like prove that like they're the best gay friend that she has. And so in the beginning, like I really didn't feel any romantic chemistry between these two. It was almost just like they were trying to win over the attention of their best friend who's like the bride the whole time. And honestly, like both of them were being kind of like obnoxious about it. And then even the girl Paige, who's like the bride, she was also kind of obnoxious about it. Like, I don't know. I just wasn't really vibing with the first 50%, like so much to the point where I almost just considered DNFing this and moving on because I was like, what the fuck? But honestly, like, I don't know, there was a point after around like the 150 page mark or so where it really started to get cute. And I don't know, like I'm starting to enjoy it a lot more than I was at the beginning. I really loved the conversation that they had about like song lyrics and like, oh, what's your favorite song lyric? And oh, I love that line from a Madonna song when she said, I made it through the wilderness, somehow I made it through. And like just that whole conversation was so cute. I love how they were like going back and forth with like the song lyrics, and like I don't know, they've had a few just like really cute moments since, you know, about the halfway point of the book, and now I'm starting to enjoy it a lot more. I don't know overall if this one's gonna be like a new favorite of mine. I don't think so, but it's probably gonna end up being around a 3-star. So it's kind of a bummer that I'm not like loving it as much as I was hoping to, but I'm definitely enjoying this second half a lot more than I was enjoying that first half. But anyways, I just got back from Target. I just got a bunch of like random, okay, well, I had to get a 4-pack of Monsters because I was just talking to my friend Brittany about Monsters last night. Like, and she was saying she was getting a 4-pack of Monster, and I was like, oh my god, that sounds so good. So I'm easily influenced, and so I bought more Monsters because I don't have any here at the apartment. I also just needed to pick up a few more things. Like I ran out of gum, and then also like these little sticky notes. I'm gonna be using these in a Patreon video that I'm gonna be filming with my family later this month. I also finally decided to get like a cute little whiteboard for my desk because I feel like when it comes to like my schedule, I always have my schedule like digitally on my laptop, but I just wanted like a visual so that I could like hang this up by my desk and actually get a visual of like what my schedule's looking like for that month. And these whiteboards at Target are so cheap. Like this was only $7. And it's so nice, and so I'm so glad that I'll finally have this. I'm gonna have to fill out my June schedule. And then I also went to Costco because their acai bowls were back in stock. These are some of my favorite acai bowls in this whole world. They're just these like little tiny acai bowls. You get 6 of these in this box, and these are only like about $13 for this box, which is much cheaper than, you know, the acai bowls that I usually eat. So like this is very much more affordable for me. I literally picked up 4 boxes of these because I'm insane and I don't like to go to Costco very much. So when I'm there, I try to like get as many as humanly possible, you know? I also, oh my gosh, I recently got my order from Shein. One of my closest friends, Katie, she's getting married next month in July. And this month she has her bridal shower coming up and the dress code for the bridal shower said like cottagecore or whatever. And I was like, fuck. Because I was like, I don't think I have a single thing that I could wear. So I was just going on Shein looking around and I finally got this cute little dress. And like, look at, this is cute, right? Like, this is giving cottagecore. I mean, hopefully it does, or else I'm gonna have to figure something else out. But like, this is cute, right? I haven't tried it on or anything yet, but I feel like it'll fit me, right? Okay, hello, I am back with a few updates because I have finished the book Best Men. And you know, kind of as expected, this ended up being around a 3-star for me. You know, it was fine. I do think for me the second half of the book improved a lot. Like I definitely enjoyed the second half of this book more than the first half, but I didn't enjoy it enough, I guess, to raise my rating higher than a 3-star. Like I still find that this book was pretty average. I will admit though that there was some really cute like kind of like karaoke scenes where they were singing the song Lover by Taylor Swift. Like obviously anytime Taylor Swift is mentioned in a book, it just makes me want to bump that rating right up, you know what I mean? And like there were definitely a few cute moments in this book that I think are super memorable and something that I will think about like later on. But at the end of the day, like I don't know, these characters just didn't 100% work for me. Like these characters kind of drove me a little bit crazy at times. So I can't give this anything higher than a 3-star. Shortly after finishing this one earlier today, I went ahead and started on That Summer Feeling, and I just got about 60 pages into this book. I'm also listening to the audiobook that I have from my library, and oh my gosh, I don't know about this one. I'm feeling like I'm probably gonna actually end up DNFing this, which I know is such a bummer because this book sounds really interesting, right? It's like a female-female romance. And the blurb sounded so cool because it says, when a divorced woman attends a sleepaway camp for adults, she reconnects with a man from her past only to fall for the sister instead. This book is like a not as good version of Kiss Her Once for me. I feel like this is a trope that I have read once before. You know, the book Kiss Her Once for me, it's one of my all-time favorites. And it's a trope where like the girl ends up falling for the sister instead when she's like supposed to be with the brother. I find the protagonist honestly to be like really obnoxious, and it feels very like insta love right from the jump because she like sees this guy and she wants to connect with this guy and she like has a vision, right, of their like whole lives together. Like that's what she says. She's like, I had a vision. And then she like wants to pursue this man who she like doesn't know anything about him, but she's just kind of like instantly in love with him and obsessed with him. And she's like, I need to know all of these things about him. And so then it's about how she's starting to get close to his sister because she wants to get closer to him, but then she's gonna start catching feelings for the sister instead. But I don't know, I don't love the way that this one's written so far. It just feels like, I don't know, there's just something about the writing that I'm not vibing with. I feel like this author, you know, she's the author of that book 1,000 Miles, which was a romance book that I read last year or whenever that one came out, and I kind of had the same feelings about that one where like I can't pinpoint exactly what about these books just don't work for me, but I'm just not a huge fan of the writing style. Like I don't know why, it just sometimes these characters, they feel like they're behaving in a way that just feels so juvenile or like unrealistic or just kind of like ridiculous. Like I don't know. And so far we're 60 pages in and the summer camp vibes just don't feel very strong. I don't know, maybe I'm not giving this book a fair enough chance because I'm not very far into it, but I can just tell from those first 60 pages that this is probably not gonna be for me. And I don't know, even the way that the like romance is being written so far, like it doesn't feel very inspired to me, you know, because like some of the lines she'll be like, her smile is like sunshine. Like it just feels very like basic and like, I don't know. So kind of bummed that these two are not working out the way that I had hoped. So hopefully I'll have some luck with the next book that I read for this vlog.
Small city thinking, I get why you left. Small-minded people sure know how to drink. I came to the party, I laughed at the jokes you made. I wish that I had things, now the joke's on me. I didn't come here just so I could watch you make a mess. I didn't come here to ugly cry in my favorite dress. So what the hell were you thinking then when
Hey, hello, what's up? How's it going? It is a lovely Friday afternoon. It actually feels like super rainy and windy outside today, and it feels like a little stormy out there. And the fact that it's June and we're getting this weather, like I could not be more excited. So I had to like light a few candles around the room and just get super cozy in bed. And I have started on Yours Truly by Abby Jimenez, and I am already about 120 pages into this, and oh my god. Look at all of these tabs that I've already put in so far. Like I am loving this. I'm loving this so much. If you don't know my history with this author, Abby Jimenez, I've read every book that this author has published so far, which is just wild to say. And I wasn't the biggest fan of the first, I want to say it was like the first 3 books that she published. I thought they were just okay, but it always felt like something was missing for me with those books. But then it was last year, I think, that she published the book Part of Your World. And that book just absolutely floored me. That was like an easy 5 stars, and it's one of my favorite romance books that I've ever read. And so naturally, I was pretty excited to read this one, and I did not even realize that this one was going to be like technically a sequel to Part of Your World, because we do follow characters who know the characters from Part of Your World. So like the characters that are in Part of Your World, they do appear in this book, which is something that I wasn't realizing would be the case when I started this. But so far, I'm loving this so much. Like so far, I think this one might be my favorite. Like I don't want to jinx it, okay? I don't want to freaking jinx it because it's a little early in the book, but I think I might like this one even more than Part of Your World. Like I am getting all of the freaking feelings right now. So in this story, we're following this woman who's a doctor, and her name is Brianna, and she is dealing with a lot going on in her life. She is recently divorced from this guy who was like a total freaking D-bag. And then she also has this situation with her brother where like he has dialysis with his kidney. He's gonna need a kidney transplant, and he's on like the donor list, and you know, she's just dealing with a lot of really stressful and shitty situations in her life. And so she finds out that she's like up for this promotion with like the chief of the hospital. I don't know exactly how it works or like what the promotion is, but she's up for this promotion. But the guy, the chief, lets her know like, oh, well, I'm actually going to postpone the promotion for a few months because they just got this new doctor who transferred to their hospital, and he wants to give the staff like enough time to get to know him before they make their decision on who they want as the new chief. And so it's basically going to be like a competition essentially between her and this guy to get this new job. And so naturally she's like pissed because she's like, I've been here for 10 years. Like now you're just going to bring in this new guy who we don't even know. But what she doesn't know about this guy, Jacob, is that he has really high functioning anxiety to the point where he's just really kind of like socially awkward. He doesn't know how to talk to people. And he's also dealing with a lot of, you know, really shitty things, like the fact that his ex-girlfriend is going to be getting married to his own brother. And so he's, you know, telling his family that it's fine and that it doesn't matter, and he's just trying to move on from the situation. And because his anxiety is so bad, he doesn't want their family to like completely fall apart over this thing. So he's trying to act like it's not a big deal. And so he's kind of dealing with the situation where he lied to his family that he's like already dating someone again anyway. So he's like, don't even worry about me, like I'm fine. And then they assume that he's like dating someone and that he's going to be bringing someone to the wedding. So, you know, he has this situation where he might be looking for somebody to be his fake girlfriend to bring to the wedding, which, you know, if you know my reading taste, you know I love the fake dating trope. I eat that shit up, especially when it's like a wedding invite, like you have to bring someone to a wedding. I just absolutely love it. You know, I eat that shit up. But I feel like this book, what it's doing so well right off the bat is it's making these characters just feel so freaking realistic. They're just so well fleshed out, and they feel like real people who are going through really hard shit. And it's just really beautiful how, even though they're both obviously struggling a lot in their lives and with all these things going on, they really just like bring out the best in each other. And I appreciate that, you know, because I feel like it would have been really easy for this author to make this kind of like a lighthearted kind of hate to love vibes, because they definitely have that like immediate dislike for each other because they're going to be competing for the same job essentially. But I almost love the fact that this author kind of like squashes that right away, because he's able to like reach out to her and kind of explain like where he's coming from and kind of explain about his anxiety and how he's not really good with talking to people and making good first impressions. And I just love their connection, like right from the jump, is just so precious. Like they're so cute. It's obviously like there's a lot of sad, you know, feelings in this book because of both of the things that these characters are going through. Like there's definitely a lot of moments where I was like, holy shit, I feel like I might cry just because it's written in such a way that just makes it feel so real, and it's really depressing at times. And I'm also just like loving these characters so much, and my heart just like feels so much for them already, just 120 pages in. Now at 120 pages in too, I'm getting to a part in the book where I really feel like things are gonna start picking up plot-wise. Wow, it has been a long time since I've read a romance where the male love interest has just really captured my heart. Like he is a freaking sweetheart. Like, oh my gosh. So I am just having the time of my life reading this one. I'm so glad that I decided to read this one today because it's just making me feel so happy. Right now, I'm getting ready in about an hour and a half. I have a movie night tonight with my Patreon. We're gonna be watching Crazy Stupid Love, which should be fun because now I'm in such a good like rom-com kind of mood. And Crazy Stupid Love is one of my favorite movies of all time. So I'm really excited to watch it again with my Patreon tonight. I think right now before the movie night, I'm gonna make some dinner really quick with my sister so that I can eat before the movie.
Appalachian sunrise meets my skin. Even with my eyes still closed, I can feel it coming in. Golden.
Hi! Hi. We're on the way to our friend's bridal shower. I feel like we look like we're going to like a gender reveal party or something. I'm like blue, you're pink. We didn't really plan that. It just kind of happened that way. Also, our hair looks so different right now. Well, yeah. I feel like we've never looked so different. We are not twins. I know, but we always look like twins. Like, we're always twinning. Not today, Bessie. Today we look very different. Wow! We look cute. Anyways, yeah, look at her whole dress outfit is so cute. And there's like
it's like a little asymmetrical moment.
Cute little cardigan. Very cute. Obsessed. Mine has like little white flowers on it.
Gold hair, gold rings, gold leaves, gold anything, gold. I'll follow only gold. Golden things.
Hello, how's it going? It is Saturday night, and it has been a really lovely Saturday so far. Earlier today, I went to my friend Katie's bridal shower, which was really nice. It was at her mom's house, and they just had like the cutest decorations, and her neighbor made her these like cookies that were so freaking cute and so like professionally done. And it was just really nice, you know, to get to hang out with not only Katie, but to also meet a lot of her friends who I've never met before. It was a really like, you know, great afternoon of just socializing and meeting new people. And then after we got home, me and Rachel were watching a little bit of Queer Eye, which we're almost caught up on the new season, but we've been just watching like one episode every now and then. And I also wanted to update because after Queer Eye, I just got back in bed and I've just been reading Yours Truly. And now I'm at 249 pages in, so I just have a little bit like over 100 pages left or so. And I'm still really, really enjoying this book. I feel like I'm at a part though where I'm feeling just a little bit frustrated with these characters right now. Their conversation skills sometimes like they just suck at communicating with each other, and it's like it's one of those situations where like you can tell that they both have feelings for each other and they both feel the same way, but neither of them know how to communicate their feelings very well. And it's like in some ways I want to be less harsh on them because I understand that their situation is a little complicated. You know, it is a little complicated for sure, but it's also just like it drives me nuts. Because like reading his point of view, he'll just be like, if only she knew how much I really wanted her, and then in her point of view she's like, if only he knew. And it's like, fucking just say something to each other then. So that's just driving me a little bit crazy, but at the same time, I just absolutely adore these characters, and so I don't mind it that much, you know? I'm still having a good time with this. I still think that they're just so freaking cute together. So I'm still enjoying this. I think I'm going to try and finish this one up tomorrow, because as much as I want to like stay up right now and just finish it tonight, I am just feeling a little bit like tired from the day and not like I want to read the rest of the book tonight with my eyes. So I think I'm just gonna chill for the rest of the night. Hello, hi, how's it going? It's the next afternoon. I know that I've been absolute shit at updating this vlog today, but I've had a very busy day. I was editing 2 different videos. I ended up going to the gym in the afternoon, and then while I was editing some thumbnails after that, I was able to listen to the rest of yours truly as I was like cooking dinner and just doing a whole bunch of things today. And the ending of this story, oh my god, I don't want to say I feel like I jinxed it when I said that I would give this book 5 stars and that I was loving it so much, because I really was. And I really do love these 2 characters and I love their chemistry so freaking much. But honestly, like, this protagonist was driving me a little bit insane towards the end of this book. As much as I understand the like miscommunication thing, it's also just so frustrating to read about sometimes. Because like, I get that it happens and I get that sometimes people just really suck at communicating their feelings in real life, and I know that that's true for a lot of people, but it's just so frustrating to like read about someone who's so convinced that he doesn't want her for the right reasons, or like he's just like my ex and I can't trust him for so long. It's just like, girl, oh my gosh. Like, I don't know, she just got a little bit frustrating for me by the end of this book. It just felt like a lot of repetitive problems, like over and over and over again, where she just has a lot of trust issues and they just don't communicate with each other very well about how they're feeling. And so a lot of the time towards the end of this book, it felt like I was just like waiting for both of them to realize their feelings for each other. But at the same time, like, God, I loved this so much. Like, their chemistry was so good. The romance scenes, like, once they got together, I was like, oh shit! Like, it was cute. I was shipping it. I think too, you know, Jacob, he's, you know, the love interest in this book. I feel like he's definitely one of my favorite male protagonists that I've read in a romance in such a long time. And I think it's partly due to the fact that because he has such intense anxiety, I just found him to be really relatable, you know, and I just related to a lot of the different things that he was talking about in this book. And, you know, he talks a lot about how different situations are like kind of hard for him, or sometimes first impressions can be really hard for him. And I don't know, like, all the conversations about his anxiety in this book, I just found to be very relatable, and he was so refreshing to read about as a male protagonist who has anxiety. I feel like that's not something that I see a lot of in romance books. I mean, I do see a lot of like anxiety and like OCD rep and different things like that in romance books, but it's usually not the male love interest. It's usually like the female protagonist. So I don't know, I just thought it was very refreshing to read about a male, you know, love interest that had anxiety. I don't know, there was just a lot of things that I really loved about this book, and now it's like, it's hard to say if I love this one even more than Part of Your World, because I think I am gonna give this one 4 out of 5 stars just because of how much this female protagonist really started to annoy me at the end. Like, she literally brought it down a star because I was like, girl, get your shit together. Like, I'm so irritated right now. But honestly, it's like, it's hard to say because I think Part of Your World, it was like a perfect 5-star read for me, but I think I connected more with these 2 as characters than I did with the, I don't know, maybe it's just like my personal preference or like who I cared about more. And so it's like, I cared more about these 2 as characters, but I liked the overall story of Part of Your World better. Like, I thought it had a better ending, and I thought their chemistry was really cute too. So like, I don't know, I enjoyed both. Ending of this book was kind of a letdown for me. Like, I just think the ending got so annoying and frustrating, but otherwise, like, this is gonna be a book that I'm gonna remember for a really long time. I really loved these characters and I adored the romance. I'm just glad to have loved another book by this author, Abby Jimenez. I think she's definitely gonna be an author that I'll be checking out any books that she publishes in the future. Yeah, anyways, I just finished dinner, and then I also threw some cinnamon rolls in the oven. I just got the like Winco cinnamon rolls, you know, they were gonna expire pretty soon here, so I was like, oh shit, I need to make these tonight. And so I think I'm gonna eat those cinnamon rolls soon. They should be out of the oven in just a few seconds here. And then I think I might watch a movie tonight. I don't really know, but then I think the next book that I'm gonna read is The Whispers, which I'm so freaking excited about. It is much later in the afternoon on the following day. It's about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Today has been a super busy but like really productive day. You know, me and Rachel, we went to Winco to get groceries, which Winco is like kind of a drive for us, but it's our favorite place to get groceries because of how much cheaper it is there compared to other grocery stores. So we got all of our groceries, we came back home, we unloaded them all, we did the whole thing. And then I also was able to film a video this afternoon that I needed to get done. And then I started on The Whispers by Ashley Audrain, which this is one that I'm so excited about because of how much I loved The Push. And this one, it's weird because on the back of this book, it says that it's contemporary fiction, but then when I check on Goodreads, it's listed under thriller mystery fiction. And so I'm not totally sure what genre this book is gonna end up being, but so far it does feel a little bit more contemporary. And I am about 124 pages in so far, so I feel like I've gotten a good hang of the story so far. Basically what's happening in this book is that we're following these 4 different women who all live in the same neighborhood, and their lives are kind of connected in a really interesting way. And something that I love about this book, which is something that I also loved about The Push so far, is that this story really feels like it's about motherhood and like the struggles of motherhood and the expectations that are put on women who are mothers. There's just a lot of themes, you know, that I could relate with this book, with The Push. Like there's definitely a lot of crossover with the themes of motherhood in these 2 books. And I really like this one so far because we're following these 4 different women and each of them have something really unique and different going on in their lives. So the main premise that's happening is that there's this woman named Whitney and there's this party. Her son like disobeys her at the party and she doesn't think that anybody else can hear her, but she doesn't know that the window's open, and she just completely like loses her shit on her son and starts screaming at him and calling him a little shit or whatever, and totally scares everyone in the neighborhood, right? Like everybody's like, oh, holy shit, like she's having some problems with her son. But then later on, that same boy falls out of his window in the middle of the night and ends up getting hospitalized, and all the people in the neighborhood are kind of suspecting that maybe he didn't fall out of the window, like maybe something actually happened, and because like they think after that huge moment where they saw her like explode at her son, they think that maybe she could have had something to do with why he was hospitalized. And so this story kind of takes place over the 3 days that he's in the hospital, like right after he's in the hospital, and then we do get flashbacks to that party where they were at, where like she like lost her shit on everyone. And it's really interesting to see the way that, you know, like people think because a mother like explodes at their child that they're capable of like harming their child. But it's really interesting because, you know, the girl Whitney, she's the mom that was the one that was yelling at her son, so we get her point of view. We also get the point of view of this woman named Blair, who's like one of her closest friends, and low-key Whitney is like sleeping with Blair's husband, and there's like that whole sideline story going on as well. There's also this woman named Rebecca, and she's one of the ER doctors who's helping to treat the son, and she also has like a lot of struggles with pregnancy, and she's like trying to have a baby, and so there's that kind of conversation happening in her, you know, character's life, and we do get her point of view as well. And then the 4th perspective we get is from this woman named Mara, and she's kind of this older woman who like lives in the neighborhood, who's just kind of watching them. But then she also like, we get kind of her backstory on like how she's been raising her child and different things like that. So we do get 4 different perspectives of 4 different women who are all mothers and who all have different experiences with motherhood. And I think it's just, oh my god, it's so beautifully written so far. Like I absolutely love this author's writing. I also love too that there's already been a few mentions of The Whispers, you know, because I love when a book has like a kind of mysterious title. I felt this way about The Push too, where there's kind of like this mysterious title, and I feel like the title can have so many different meanings, because, you know, with The Push, it was like that book was so about motherhood, and it's kind of talking about the push, you know, like when you're literally pushing a child out of your body out into the world, but then there's also like the literal meaning of like the push, because there's something that happens in the plot that's very like significant to that being the title of the book. And so then with this book being called The Whispers, like I wasn't sure what that was going to be like referring to, but right in the beginning of this book on page 15, she's kind of talking about how she feels like her husband is being unfaithful. You know, like this is when she's kind of figuring out that she thinks that her husband is having an affair with one of her best friends. And she says, more than any proof that she has, it is a feeling. She'd once heard them described as the whispers, the moments that are trying to tell you something isn't right here. Problem is that some women aren't listening to what their lives are trying to tell them. They don't hear the whispers until they're looking back with hindsight, feeling blindsided, desperate to see the truth for what it is. And so I love that right away we kind of get an idea of what the whispers are. Like, I don't know, it's just so beautifully, gorgeously written so far. I love too the way that Blair kind of talks about motherhood and how she feels so much pressure to make their home a safe space for their children. And she talks about her husband and she says, has Aiden ever noticed that? The way that we all just seem to float, that they are fed and cared for and have shampoo in their shower and salt in their shaker and gifts on the morning of their birthdays. That is her doing, her unseen value. That is worth more than the $16.50 an hour Jane pays her. Because he's trying to, I don't know, I guess he's trying to make her feel like her job as a stay-at-home mom just isn't that important, which I think is so... it's so frustrating when men try to not put any value on how amazing it is to have a stay-at-home mom or to have a mom that just contributes to the home. And I feel like it's always overlooked how much work women do in their homes. I also love too, this was a quote a little bit later on in the book on page 85, but this isn't spoilery or anything, but it's when one of the characters were talking about their children's demands of their attention constantly and how difficult it can be to balance like the demand of children all the time. It says the onslaught of demands, the whining, the constant changing of their minds after she's made what they want, given into what they want, bought what they want. She needs windows of time with them, not stretches, small orderly windows. And I honestly like feel this in my soul. I feel like, oh my gosh, every time I read a book from this author now, I'm like, she vocalizes something that I didn't know how to say about what scares me about motherhood or like the idea of being a parent, is how there is literally no time for yourself and how your kids are always the priority, and how it's like it's so much easier to handle things in windows of time instead of stretches of time. But yeah, I'm 20 chapters in. I'm really enjoying it so far. I think right now we are going to get started on dinner. I think Rachel actually might already be starting on dinner downstairs right now. So I'm gonna eat some dinner. I might come back to this and read a little bit more tonight because I'm really enjoying it. I'm really having a good time. I also like need to take a shower so desperately. Like my hair needs to be washed. Oh my god.
All I need is you. All I need is you. Yeah, like all I need is you. Baby, we can rendezvous. Baby, all I need is you. Like all I need is you. Baby, all I need is you. Yeah, I'll be honest, 요준이 생각에만 나. It's dishonest to say that I've been feeling alive. 난 아니야, staying up in night all the time. 네가 필요 없다고 구차니난 거짓말. Now I'm sprung, running through my head. 네 옆에 말해줘, 시간 없다고 헐 때가 가라고. You ain't even gotta tell me twice. So you fancy, funny how you in my life. 그래 이제 궁금하지 않아.
Hi, hello. It is much later in the night. It's almost 11 o'clock at night now. My sister made these amazing chicken enchiladas for dinner. It was the first time she's ever actually made like homemade chicken enchiladas, like kind of like my mom's recipe, except instead of celery like my mom uses, Rachel used peppers instead. She used like a mix of like green and yellow peppers. They turned out so good. Like it was so amazing. And then after dinner, I washed my hair, which was desperately needed. And then I also was finishing editing the video that I filmed earlier today. While that video was like rendering, I was just sitting here at my desk finishing up The Whispers, and I just finished reading the book a few minutes ago. And this book was really wild. I feel like this was actually a really quick read. I will warn you that there are some pretty intense trigger warnings in this book for a lot of things, you know, related to motherhood, but especially miscarriages and infertility and like really brutal child births. Much like The Push, I feel like if you were at all uncomfortable by some of the themes in The Push, then I feel like you would also be uncomfortable with some of the things happening in this one. But wow, this story was a wild ride. There was this this one quote that I feel like just really captured the entire theme of this book. And it's when she says, "But the sacrifice of motherhood isn't for everyone, right? It changes who you are in the world. It's this irreversible decision that alters so much of you." And I feel like that quote is just so powerful, and much like The Push, I feel like this book also touches on a lot of my biggest fears with the idea of motherhood and with the idea of parenting in general. I really do love the kind of like complicated relationships in this book, not only that like the women have with each other, but also that some of the women have with their own children in this book. I don't know, okay, like I want to give this book 4 stars, and the only reason why it doesn't get a 5-star from me, I guess, is because I didn't feel as invested in these characters as I felt with The Push. Like, just comparing the two, you know, because they are so similar and they do feel really similar to me in a lot of ways. I do think that The Push is like an easy god tier 5 stars, like all-time favorite, and I just don't have those same like passionate feelings about this one. But I do think this book was still absolutely incredible, and like this author, Ashley Audrain, the way she writes about motherhood in general is just so interesting and just so beautiful. And it's also like really, I don't know, kind of like eerie and sad, and it just has this tone to it that feels really sad. I was pretty invested in the kind of like mystery that's happening, you know, because like the main mystery in this book is just surrounding this boy who fell out of his window, and it's this mystery of like what really happened that night, what was really going on. And I was really invested in that aspect of the story, and that's what really kept me hooked until the ending of this book. And I feel like the ending was pretty satisfying. I actually feel like the ending also in a way reminded me of The Push, where it kind of ends on a note where like the final sentence is like, like jaw-dropping, you know, kind of. That's how I felt about The Push too. Like I remember that last sentence of The Push, like, oh my god. I do think The Push though, it's overall a lot more solid for me, because like I just don't have the same passionate feelings about this one, and I think it's because I didn't connect with the characters as much. I almost feel like I would have enjoyed this book more had we followed a little bit less characters, because then maybe I would have had more time to connect with them. I actually feel like I would have liked this book a lot more if it was just told from the perspectives of maybe like Blair and Whitney. I don't know if we needed all the extra point of views with like Rebecca and then the, you know, neighbor lady Mara. Like I don't know if we needed their point of views in this story as much, because that's something that I really liked about The Push, is that for the most part, if I'm remembering correctly, I think it just follows the protagonist's point of view, and then we get some chapters that are from like her mom's perspective, like back in the day. But for the most part, it was just the point of view of the protagonist, which I really liked in The Push, whereas this one, sometimes it just felt like there were a little bit too many characters and I couldn't get invested enough in them, if that makes sense. But wow, this was still 4 stars for me. This was still something that I really enjoyed and something that I'm going to be thinking about for a long time. I feel like some of my favorite kind of thriller mystery books like this are the slow burn, kind of quiet, kind of like thoughtful character study kind of thrillers. Like I don't know if I would necessarily call this one a thriller. I definitely think it's more of like a slow burn contemporary kind of mystery. But I still think if you're a fan of thrillers and you do like thrillers that discuss certain things like motherhood and the struggles of motherhood, I think this could be something you would really enjoy. And I would still recommend this for fans of The Push. I just think her writing in general is just so relatable and really beautiful and sad and interesting. All right, so that is a wrap on this reading vlog. I feel like this reading vlog, it doesn't seem like it was super successful, but at the same time, I think it definitely was, because I found new favorite books in both of these. Even though they weren't 5 stars, I still had such a great time with both of these, and especially Yours Truly is going to be a book that will stay on my mind for so long because of this man, Jacob. I just adore him. And once again, if you're watching this on YouTube and you'd like to see the extended part of this reading vlog where I read Everyone in My Family Has Killed Someone, I'll have it linked down below, so you can go and check it out if you'd like to. And thank you so much for watching as always, and I will see you with another video very soon. Bye.